What is going on, my friends? My name is Ven, and I'm here to bring you another fantastic video chock full of Hytale news. Today, we're going to be analyzing everything we've seen so far in Hytale, and bring you some facts you probably didn't know or think about before. Let's jump into it. The first thing we'd like to share with you is on the topic of farming, and more specifically, the interactions you can expect while tending to your animal and plant babies. We've all seen the Hytale trailer, so you're likely familiar with the opening where the fox is chasing a jackalope near a farmhouse. While this is widely known to be amazingly animated and extremely adorable, it may suggest a real in-game behavior system for the fox, as this isn't the only time they're seen stalking small critters. If you examine in the upper left side closely, you can see a fox eyeballing his dinner, hinting that jackalopes, while tasty, can't beat good old KFC. So make sure to keep a close eye on your farm friends. On the plus side, if you're vegan, foxes are probably great at scaring away those adorable thieving rodents. Food for thought. Or is it thought for food? Nobody knows. Staying on this same image and making the editor's life a little bit easier, you can spot a breed of dog we've not yet seen. One that is larger and more darker brownish color. Definitely not a corgi. This big boy can be seen gracefully chilling while its owner vengefully pursues a jackalope. Don't worry, pup. You're still a good boy to me. Regardless, it makes you wonder what other canine friends you can find roaming the land of Orbis. How will you ally them, and how will they help you on your journey? Only time will tell, and pets are a huge topic. We'd be happy to hear what you guys think our animal companions will do in the comments down below. Up next, we have some neat speculations on our furry friends from the deep, the Slothians. Much like pictures of the elusive Sasquatch, these guys are always blurry and out of focus, giving us little info about who they really are. Although the early World Gen introduction blog post may have dropped us a clue to how they live. After explaining the differences prefabs would have between the various zones, they show us an image containing a house made almost entirely of bamboo. Quite large bamboo, in fact. While we've seen various examples of structures made of this behemoth grass before, the underground home of the Slothians is the only place we've seen bamboo this large growing in the world before. For the next topic, we're talking weapons, and the surprisingly large variety we've seen thus far. Starting off with the classic cutting, poking, and beating sticks is the melee category. Featuring an extensive array of damage-dealing devices, we've got daggers, short swords, long swords, spears, cutlasses, katanas, axes, great axes, maces, great axes, cleavers, clubs, great clubs, and a wide array of random ones to be dropped by thine foes. For those who would rather stab their foes from a distance, Hytale's got you covered with crossbows, short bows, and mostly overlooked what appears to be a fiery longbow. One can only wonder what the nuance between the three are. Will they vary in damage, range, or draw speed? We'll have to wait and see. And with that, we go on to our third and final category of weapons, magic. By far the smallest weapon group we've seen, it makes up for only having staves and wands by being inherently elemental, controlling the 6 forces of fire, water, ice, lightning, earth, and void. What you may not have noticed, however, is that several staffs are bladed, possibly allowing for mages to have more combat options than just magic. With that said, it may be possible that wands could have functions as stabbing weapons, as most seem to be made of metal and quite pointy. It's unusual, but I'd be down for a spellcasting shiv. Up next, we have a rattling fact about skeletons. While it has been unclear what their role in the lore is, it has been hinted at before that they may very well be fallen adventurers. This is starting to seem more true, as they can be seen bearing the same armor and weapons as players can. This Dusty Bone Man is a fine example of this, wearing the same light gold armor as this dashing archer. I hope they weren't related. Now, we all know that there's 6 elements in Hytale. Once again, fire, water, earth, air, lightning, and void, and that they come from the elemental crystals. While any further information has been sparse, did you know we've seen all 6 crystals already? We've seen every gem in the world raw, except for lightning crystals. These just so happenly to be haphazardly slapped on the end of a Trork's shaman's staff, implying lightning magic may be some of the first we encounter. Everyone assumes that the pink crystals we've seen are the void crystals. They're not. We've already seen void gems. The Temple of Gaia is coated in them, even visible from the map. These pink ones ain't it. They glow a lot, so they seem magical. What could they possibly be? While this fact comes straight out of the desert, it's anything but dry. Some of you observant fans have probably seen huge bright blue trees scattered in the backgrounds of some Zone 2 images. While their purpose is almost entirely unknown, it may be because they bear fruit. Looking at the image closely, you can see that the bottom of the tree is lit in small patches, much like the trees from Zone 1's glowing forest or the underground Slothian trees. The trees in Zone 1 glow because of blue flowers on them. Slothian trees glow from the fruit, so we think the same applies for Zone 2. Whatever the case, we hope it's truly magical and not just a salad topper. Segueing off the last one, you may be wondering how to get these fruit. Those of you with any experience playing Minecraft probably imagine having to devastate a majestic forest just for a bucket of apples. Luckily, the Hypixel team has us covered, with flowers and fruits easily displayed on the outside of trees, ready to be hand-picked at your discretion. Gone are the days of violently punching leaves off of the trees in the name of Granny Smith. We can finally live out our dreams of orchid ownership. We truly live in the future, lads. Let me be clear with you, this may be due to the era Hytale takes place in, but believe it or not, we've yet to see transparent glass within the game. While glass does exist within Hytale, it has a pleasant effect where it only lets light through, showing if the room is lit or not. Somewhat translucent for those of you who remember grade 7 science. Worry not, however. If you're looking for transparency, there are many different variations of wood, sticks, and metal window bars to keep critters out and allowing for a stunning view. Whether or not glass being translucent is a permanent feature or not is unknown, but I like the aesthetic and privacy it provides. If you've browsed the Hytale website's concept art, you're probably familiar with our yellow, ocularly impaired friend, the Clops, described as loving the finer things in life and being rather possessive of their horde. Some of you may not know, however, that we've seen him twice in game so far. Once in the theater, and much more interestingly, in what appears to be a merchant stand. Both times, he has a loaded backpack as well. Is he a salesperson? Who knows what items or services our jolly friend will provide? Out of the extensive list of crops available within Hytale so far, that's a list for another day, interestingly, is cotton. We imagine this will likely be used for the crafting of clothes and mage robes and furniture like beds, maybe even consumables. We hope it has a significant use if it's a necessary crop. I have nothing funny to say about cotton. Let's face it, everyone loves the Quebecs. They're small, adorable, perpetually worried plant friends. Have you seen this baby? Although, when taking a closer look, you'll notice a lot of Quebec villages have chicken coops. Makes you wonder what exactly a Quebec's diet is. I'm not suggesting anything, but did you know they have fangs? Just saying. These cute little fellas might be more bite than bark. The dev team wasn't lying when they said they've been very careful about what they show. You can find clues they've been dropping about the world hidden in the backgrounds and edges of most pictures. We've seen snippets of colossal skulls in Zone 2 before, but in one of the recent Twitter posts from the Hytale page showed us a hyena den with a massive bone structure in the back and a huge spinal column right in the middle of our historical foes. What on earth could these bones have come from? How did they die? And are they still around? Could these titans' downfall be the reason for the Scarab's alarmingly large numbers? Only Hypixel knows, and they aren't talking yet. Harkening back to something we showed you at number 7, we have a brave archer facing off against a frigid ice dragon, presumably dashing back while firing an arrow. It brings up the question of how combat will be handled. Will players have the option of skillfully evading attacks, adding a new layer of depth to combat? Or will this turn out to be merely promotional imaging? My bet is on the former. Now, where did I put my Estus flask? Coming up next, we have some speculation. So far, we've seen several examples of wardrobes in Hytale. While we may be able to quickly brush it off as extra storage space, which I doubt we would mind, it may have a more practical use. From the looks of it, outfits are changed in the character menu, outside of servers. I theorize these wardrobes will allow players to change between outfits in-game, not forcing the player to log out whenever they need to change out of their blood-soaked tunic. If this is the case, it'll add a wonderful touch of immersion that all games could benefit from. Animal companions alone is a huge topic for Hytale. Will some animals only be mountable and some only be pets? Where will this boundary be drawn? We spoke a little bit earlier on a dog nobody's seen before, but were you aware of this colorful little fellow hanging out with some salty sea folk? Imagine having your own airborne ally following you on your adventure, chirping to the tune of your song. It sure has us excited. Believe it or not, we've actually seen a Farron in-game. While it may not be its most flattering side, it gives us some insights of how big these guys may be. You'll see him sitting next to the man in the yellow hats from Curious George and watching a pleasant video about cute dog behavior. This one is a small one, so I'll make this one really quick. Remember that GIF Hytale uploaded on their Twitter account? The one with the creepy four-fingered hand over a cauldron? If you brighten the image a bit, you can see a huge wooden door with the symbol of Gaia on it, the very same one we saw in the trailer. Does that mean this ghoulish soup enthusiast lives underground, or merely likes grand entrances? I'm sorry I keep bringing it back to Quebex, but did you know they have one colossal toenail on each foot? Are they even feet or are they just toes? They're so cute, but I'm very confused about them. What are they? Do you have a skeleton? If so, where do your bones go when you become a tree? Ah! Legend has it that if you stare at the World Hub photos for an hour, flash lights on and off 5 times, and whisper the word meow very, very quietly, you'll be greeted by a great Orbis cat girl. All jokes aside, there's someone who shows up in the hub images and videos quite a bit actually, donning either a strange hairstyle or cat ears. While likely not a playable race, it is probably a head accessory. So yeah, do with that information as you see fit. I don't judge, it's 2019. It's common knowledge that humans and elves are 2 playable races within Hytale. No shocker there. But focusing on the wording in the character customization blog post, I quote, "We'll have more to share about alternative playable races in the future. If you've watched our announcement trailer, you may have already caught a glimpse of some of them. Why not go back and take another look?" Showing an image of an elf directly above. This seems to suggest we've seen other playable races already, and we didn't even know. What do you think they could be, and why? How is nobody talking about this? Is this the Nico? And last but not least, number 24. While unconfirmed by the development team officially, it's widely considered true in the community that I really need a hobby. Hey everyone, post-facts note. We got some really exciting news a little bit ago. Noxie went to Twitter and left a string of messages explaining, well, I'll let him tell you. Quick Hytale update for you guys. Things are going super well and the team is working hard on all fronts. Apologies for being so quiet in the past few weeks. There should be another blog post out within 1 to 2 weeks with some cool new shiz to unveil. Oh, another thing. We're probably going to be adding a fair number of new positions to our hytale.com/jobs page in the upcoming future. Like quite a few. So if you're or someone you know is interested, the day will come. We'll announce when the new positions are live. It's a fine balancing act when it comes to deciding how much stuff we want to show. Obviously, the adventure mode is heavily exploration based, so we have to be careful not to show too much. And when it comes to in-dev stuff like combat and PvP, it's quite hard to show since not all of our audience is understanding of game dev processes. It can lead to over-analysis, non-final things. We have super high standards for PvP. We come from a PvP server on Minecraft. This is wonderful news. People have been getting angsty without news for so long. Many people thought blog posts weren't coming. Plus, it's supposed to be something big. We're looking forward to seeing it, and we know you are too. And with that said, this is all I have for you guys today. Let me know if there's anything I've missed. And finally, I'd love to send a warm thank you to Hypixel Studios for making all of this possible.